Well, greetings again, everyone. It's Nick Michalak and Mr. Steve Frazier.
Hello again.
And it's John Carpenter's The Thing today in our commentary series of fantastic stuff.
JC, returning one more time.
After some terrible Halloween franchise
We just
stuff.
need a break, God damn it.
We need a palate cleanser, and this is definitely one of the best.
Yes, good.
So, guys, if you have a copy of this fantastic film, go ahead and sync up to the timestamp of 0 on your Blu-ray, DVD, whatever you have. And we'll give you a countdown to hit play. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go. I don't know if I have this on Blu-ray or not. I have it, but I don't know if I have the Blu-ray copy.
Okay, because I originally bought this on the original DVD release, which was non-anamorphic. And then they re-released it as an anamorphic transfer later on DVD. And then
that might be the one that
and then I sat on it until the Scream Factory one came out. So
Morricone here did the music for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Criminally underrated, this guy, and I can't believe it took him until recently to win that Oscar.
Yeah, it's really strange. I mean, he's created iconic scores, and obviously Carpenter was a big fan of him from all the westerns and everything. So once he had a studio putting a budget behind everything, it's like, let me get someone of really good quality to do it, so take a little pressure off of Carpenter to do a score where he's got all this other stuff going on with a big production and everything.
And, of course, Carpenter brought back some of his stalwarts, like Dean Cundy.
Yeah.
And
Todd Ramsey is the editor who did The Fog before. No, he didn't do Fog. He did Escape from New York. He edited that. This
one not written by J.C.
No.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
He sure did a good enough job.
Yeah. Because, again, this is adapted from a short story or whatnot from John W. Campbell, who goes there. So that was adapted in the 50s.
That was I was going to say it was a long time before that, right?
Yeah. So that was adapted into the Howard Hawks production in the 50s. Then here we are now.
Here we are now.
And oddly enough, they had that version on the TV in the original Halloween, where the kids are sitting around watching the marathon. So
the old one.
Yeah, the black and white version from the 50s.
And I wonder if he knew he wanted to do it at that point. Like,
yeah, well, I know he was very much into Howard Hawks stuff because he also did a lot of westerns as well. So I imagine he pretty much just chose it because he was a fan of it, featuring the film.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he was just a big fan.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he stuck it on there.
Right.
I can't imagine necessarily. I mean, it was only 3 or 4 years before this.
Yeah, because he could have slapped on any public domain crap or whatnot. He decided to throw that in specifically. So.
Yeah, maybe he was planting a seed, and he said, I think I'm going to work on this coming up.
Yeah. And a lot of seeds are starting to be planted, like during the Fog or whatnot, starting to work with Rob Teen and everything. So things were starting to come together a little bit at a time from that point onwards, from Halloween up to Escape.
And didn't he originally want Atkins to be in this movie?
I don't know.
I think he originally.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think Atkins was originally talked about as playing the Kurt Russell role.
Possibly. I mean, there are a few names thrown around, I think, but I haven't heard anything. In the documentary is just IMDb trivia stuff.
Gotcha.
So take that as much of credibility as you like.
Well, yeah. Yeah, anybody could. I could have written that yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of an iconic opening shot here with the dog.
Yeah.
The dog running, the helicopter chasing. Beautiful footage. Scenery here. Obviously, they claimed it was set in Antarctica, but I think they filmed it in Alaska.
Alaska, British Columbia. Yeah. And a lot of the interiors were done in...
like a soundstage somewhere, right?
Yeah, some were, some weren't. In L.A., where they were refrigerating the set so you could get all the breath and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's like 100 degrees outside, which is a real good formula for just getting your cat sick as the dog.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Thankfully, no one did. A lot of people got injured here and there outside of the production.
What an interesting way to start a movie.
Yeah,
in that you've got, like, okay, everybody likes dogs, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is probably the 10th film that we've covered that now where they're trying to kill a dog.
Yeah.
And, but you think, okay, what kind of crazy person is shooting at this dog?
And you got this wonderful score going on that's very ominous and moody type of stuff that's giving you some tension over the thing. So everything's a mystery right now. You're trying to figure out exactly what the pieces are.
And then you got these slapdicks.
Yeah.
What do we got there? J and B.
J and B.
And this guy.
Magnificent Kurt Russell.
Oh, the old chess wizard. Sure. Kurt Russell, with the long hair and beard, is just fantastic.
Yes. He was already partway there with Snake Plissken. He just got to grow out the beard a little more. Wait another month. He's perfect for the role.
Snake. So, I always kind of, like, it always made me wonder every time I watch this. I was like, what are all the, like, obviously they're there to do a job. Is this just their night off? Or, like...
Yeah. You don't actually see them doing anything in terms of a research station. What are they researching?
Like, what are you doing?
There's ice.
Right. Tell me about your job, guys.
You don't need to travel to Antarctica to study ice.
And why is this barrel just hanging out here? Chevron barrel. It says jet on it. Is that supposed to mean that it's jet fuel?
Jet fuel, probably. For the chopper.
Why would they? Oh, I guess.
Probably for the chopper.
What did the other sign say? The other sign didn't say United States on it, right? It just said research something or other.
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, talking and not watching the movie. Kind of a creepy looking set, too.
Yeah.
Oh, and can you imagine this? Like, you're secluded in Antarctica, and, you know, on this remote station, and then all of a sudden, here comes a helicopter? Like, that'd be freaky,
buzzing
right?
the tower, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, what the hell?
And he's playing it that way. It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Huh. So, but that also means, like, they probably knew that there were other research stations up there, yeah?
They're aware of it, yeah.
The old grenade. Of all the films that we've done that killed dogs, none of them were ever done by grenade.
No. I mean, in general, I think this film has some of Dean Cundy's finest work. Because he gets a lot to work with in this film, visually.
I think he's got a pretty specific style of, like, at least in the interior shots.
A lot of mood.
Yeah.
A lot of gels.
And, you know, the inside shot that they just had there.
Yeah.
You know, could have easily been from a Halloween film or, you know, The Fog or whatever. And, but then, none of the other films that they've done have ever had the scope or the breadth of, like, this epic, wide-sweeping, you know, landscape, so to speak.
Which, again, is the advantage of having Universal Studios behind it and putting however much money they put into it, something like $15 million, which...
Well, you dumb dick, you just broke the window. It's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, for $15 million in the early 80s is probably equivalent to about like $40 million today or something like that. So, I mean, that's a strong budget for a guy coming up in the system and whatnot after some
I guess he'd made 3 or 4 movies at this point. Yeah. All of them huge successes, too.
Yes.
Because was Escape from New York before this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right before,
so he did Halloween. He did Halloween 2. He did The Fog. He did Escape from New York.
Well, he didn't direct Halloween 2, but he had Assault
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As a director.
So this was his 5th film?
Yeah. Well, he had Dark Star before that, but that's kind of here or there with being like a student film that got elongated to theatrical length. But in terms of like saying produced as a theatrical feature,
Right. I don't know why they're so hurried to put out this fire. It's cold. Stand by the fire. Beautiful dog.
Yeah. He was so well trained on this film. Like, he did everything that he needed to, and they didn't have to work that hard to get it, I don't think.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I can't, animals are probably the worst to work with.
The hardest thing, yeah.
Look at Kurt Russell. What a badass.
Yeah. And just look at this shot. You've got 10 actors in the shot, and they're all blocked out beautifully because you've got this wonderful wide frame to use it that way.
And this is a cast of character actors that you go,
stellar actors.
I know that guy from somewhere. I don't know where, but I know that guy.
I mean, you got Wilford Brimley, which everyone freaking knows.
I think
without the beard, which is interesting.
Wilford Brimley, everybody knows him now.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody knew him then.
Not then, but I mean, as we grew up in the 80s, we saw him in a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I mean, anybody that knows Wilford Brimley is going to claim one of two things. They're either going to claim the diabetes campaign
or Cocoon,
or the Quaker Oats.
Or Quaker Oats. Or if you're older, you saw Cocoon or something.
Oh, well, sure.
Ron Howard stuff.
There we go. That's me.
Yeah, that's you.
Quads for life, baby. I went roller skating a month ago, and I don't know, other than the people that rented them, I might have been the only one that walked in with quads. Yeah, I own roller skates. Thank you. 80s kid.
Yeah.
Through and through. What is this pinball machine back there? Heat Wave? I thought maybe it was a pop culture thing. It might have just been a rando. I
love these characters.
What are they doing? I mean, at this point, now they actually have some research to do, but I can't imagine that this is the kind of research that...
Yeah, that's on the docket, the agenda.
Let's see. What do we got going on here? It is pretty well framed out, too.
Yeah, because a lot of directors will say it's a nightmare to kind of shoot scenes like this. You got a whole bunch of people standing around the table. How do you block it out or whatnot? But you just run it with a nice wide angle type of thing. If it was a shorter scene like that, it's a lot easier to cover because you're just doing a wide shot, a master there, and just let them work the scene.
Yeah, and I suppose you could set it up where you're like, okay, here's the shot. Yeah. I need all of you to be spread out just enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
make it feel natural.
You can kind of say, everybody get in line, set up the shot, and say, okay, you need to stand here.
Yeah.
Do your thing, but just end up here.
Yeah. I mean, talking about this cast, I mean, I could probably name you at least another film I've seen many of these people in, Gary the Captain there. He was in Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Here's the President. You got Richard Dysart from L.A. Law later. Richard Masur was in the TV version of It.
Oh, yeah,
He's the one who kills himself halfway through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't say who he played.
Oh.
You have to figure it out.
I was going to say, not all the adults make it back to Derry if you're waiting on It Part 2 next year.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, fine.
He doesn't have much to be.
What was I going to say?
You love that hat he's wearing.
Oh, no, I don't. Is it David Keith or is it Keith David?
Keith David.
I never remember which way.
David Keith is the white guy.
He's got two.
He's in a Firestarter.
Okay. People that have two first names, a double first name. I can never keep it. Okay, so he's Keith David?
Keith David.
Keith David.
Yes.
I read somewhere that this was his first movie.
It might have been because a lot of these guys were stage actors before this.
Yeah.
They had a lot of that experience, which I think really shows through a lot, because you can see a lot of attention to detail of how they just commit themselves into characterization.
Interestingly, that you say that, I feel like, aside from... yeah, well, we don't want to get dinged from the copyright. Yeah.
We love you, Stevie, but no thank you.
Yeah, we don't need a lawsuit or anything. Interestingly, aside, even with the sweeping epic nature of where they're at, a lot of this could have really been done as a stage play on the inside.
I think so. I could definitely feel that.
Here's a great, like, this low, moody shot. Like, this is a Dean Cundy special right here.
Yeah. Because it's just showing, it's getting you into mood. You know, kind of going off in their separate little ways. A lot of the place is empty, so everyone's kind of in their own private little corners here, which is what you're definitely getting to here.
And Kurt Russell and his crew are off to investigate the Norwegians.
Camp.
Okay. Figure out why they were shooting at this poor puppy.
That's nice.
You don't see a lot of that fade out anymore.
And the editor was kind of like insisting on that type of thing, because they've been kind of going a little bit out of style and whatnot, but he felt like there was a good dramatic way of telling that, to kind of like you close out a moment or whatnot, and then you pop back into this instead of like doing a cross dissolve. It's very artistic to sell. Because I feel like with that fade out, you're kind of like robbing the audience of seeing what's coming up next. You're kind of pulling them back out of the scene. Yeah,
because you kind of watch it and you're like, oh man, I wanted to see what happened next.
You kind of pull the rug away from it. It's like, nope, you're not going to see that. You got to wait and see something else. And this is actually the exact same camp after they blew it up for the climax of the film.
Oh, this is the U.S. camp?
Yeah. Just doubling for the Norwegian one, because they blew it up for the end of the film, and they just shot this at the end of production.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Which is smart. As smart as it gets. Why build entirely...
2 camps, yeah.
Why build another one where you're just going to destroy both of them anyway? You can hide it, again, with framing and everything to make it work that way.
Well, and it's completely decimated, so you can't...
it looks completely different.
Right.
Regardless.
And even if you did notice similarities, you're like, well, how many different...
How much different are you going to make it up here in the...
Right. How many different
Arctic Circle
floor plans are there for a research facility? But now that I know that, I'm going to be watching for like this hallway.
And did you ever see that prequel they did like 6 years ago?
I did, actually. I remember not liking it.
It's highly unnecessary.
Yes.
I thought it had a few moments of decent atmosphere and whatnot, but it's like I don't have a need to see it ever again, because it just...
If I remember correctly...
Pointless exercise.
It seemed like it was trying to be a remake, even though they structured it as a prequel, and then even had the very last shot of that movie be the helicopter with the dog here, which I thought was actually kind of the most clever thing about it. But at the same time, I was like, they did a lot of the stuff that they did in this film, like as...
Yeah, they just had to remix the elements here and there. It's like, oh...
Right, like...
And that's the problem with doing a prequel. You're set to a certain blueprint you have to map your story onto, which limits your ability to do anything else.
Right.
And before that, they had a whole bunch of, like, sequel comics of this that were just, like, no good.
I mean, I guess the
large part.
The idea behind the thing is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
With the shape shifting and the kind of
it's a little slight spin on the Body Snatchers idea in a way. Sort of a cousin, you could say. Yeah,
but the hot cousin that you
you
don't really want to be attracted to, but you're thinking, well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The blood frozen. Oh, love it.
And apparently, when they kind of like rolled the thing into, it says like, that looks like crap, but you light it the right way. It's all about how you light these things that makes it come to life on screen and makes it believable.
I bought it.
Oh, yeah.
It's frozen blood.
If you put under a bright light in a workshop or whatnot, of course it's going to look like rubber because that's what it is.
Right.
But you have a master cinematographer put the right light and shadow on things and frame it the right way. It all comes together beautifully.
It's a believable blood sickle.
Mm-hmm. And you get all this nice atmospheric smoke and everything.
Yeah, I imagine that if you turn the lights on up here, you'd go, man, this really looks like a shitty set.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
the prequel thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they kind of treated it like a remake, where it just kind of had these same elements. And I think that this idea is really cool, and there are lots of things that you could do with it, both in prequel form and in sequel form, I guess. The brilliance of this, is, it kind of hadn't really been done before, but it's the secluded nature. Yeah,
the isolation adds into the atmosphere of the film. Paranoia.
Right, and you get this kind of a whodunit later on. Not really a whodunit, but it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, who's real and who isn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
And that leads to plot points. People start killing each other over...
Yeah, everyone's looking at each other crooked. No one can trust them.
Crooked! That's a great word.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... That's so much of the brilliance of the film is the subtlety of everything, just the paranoia creeping into everything and not knowing what to do about it, who to trust.
Those icicles look pretty bad, even in this light.
Yeah, those are always kind of a tough thing to pull off.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it took to build that.
It's like polystyrene or something, I'm sure.
It's funny. I was going to say, I wonder how they got all the snow on the walls, but it's probably one of those like insulation guns that they use.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Just shoot it out all over the place.
Like the junk that's inside of a fire extinguisher or, something along those lines.
Here's our first Rob Bottin monstrosity. The guy had a phenomenal career.
The special effects in this movie are out of control good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he worked a little bit on The Fog, then he went off and worked The Howling, which I absolutely love.
I don't know if I've ever seen The Howling.
I really enjoy it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I picked up the Blu-ray recently from Screen Factory to revisit. He went off to do like...
Did it have subtitles?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
It's interesting.
This one does.
I have the Screen Factory steelbook for The Fog.
Okay, it's right.
Yeah, I saw you posted that you picked it up. We're thinking about maybe doing a commentary on it down the road. I've never looked to see if it had the subtitles on it. It might not, because they fucked us before.
Yeah, thankfully on this one they do. Yeah, I mean, Bottini worked on like all the RoboCop films. He worked on Seven for Fincher. I mean, he's worked with Paul Verhoeven and John Carpenter and David Fincher. I mean, that's an impressive array of directors to work for.
Isn't it interesting? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go. I was done.
Ooh, look at this thing.
Yeah, look at that stuff.
It's so gross, but so awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how just the way you can edit a movie together, and they had a general photo of that dog just looking out the window.
Yeah.
And they pieced it together to make it look like that dog absolutely knew, had human thoughts
and intelligence behind it.
Yeah. All it was a dog looking out the window.
Yeah.
I love movies.
Yeah.
I love these kinds of shots too, where you just kind of pan from person to person.
Yeah. And again, this feels very much like a stage play moment.
Right, and that's what I was saying. Like, I could totally see these stage actors treating it that way.
And then,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
slow rack focus and everything to get you right in there. It's like, god damn.
And this double face thing.
Yeah. And it's amazing going back and reading those reviews at the time. Everyone just like, panned the film because they thought it was like exploitation,
too gory,
gory shit. They thought it was
look at that
crass.
That's just a dog.
Yeah. The look in the eyes does everything, and the dog is well trained. But yeah, just those are reviews. Everyone just like lambasting it because they thought it was just like gratuitous crap. It's just shocking to read it in retrospect. And
I don't know, it didn't make very much money either, did it?
No, it made it exceeded its budget, but just like it made 19.6 over 15, so that doesn't even...
That's still a win, but...
As above thing, but you got to take like a third of that box office, get it back to the theater owners.
Right.
And then you have to cover the marketing costs.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb is you got to make double to break even.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the things.
Look at this.
Yeah, obviously the things made tons of money on home video and everything, so I'm sure it's more than gotten to the black by now.
I mean,
by no doubt, it's probably sold millions of copies.
I feel like this is a cult favorite.
I mean, they even put out like a special edition Laserdisc in the 90s. I mean, they knew this thing was selling hot. It was a very treasured film by like 10, 15 years after it was released, so
they're really focusing in on this. I was under the impression that they didn't show you a lot up front, and that they kind of let it develop.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them
letting it get in under your skin. What is this bizarre thing?
Ah, Monty Hall, let's make a deal. God, I loved old Let's Make a Deal. Used to watch that with my grandmother as a kid. Miss, if you have lipstick in your purse right now, I'll give you $100.
Look at that top loader, man.
That sucker had to be $800 back then in 1982.
It weighs about 40 pounds. Better give you a hernia or something.
Is that a...
That's a joint. Wow. What else are you going to do up there? Who's going to stop you? Whereas how much did he have to stockpile if he's going to be up here for like...
I don't know, 6 months or whatever.
How long they're up here, yeah.
What are they doing? How is anybody, after what you just saw, able to like sit and relax and have this general fun?
Again, this guy just got shot in the leg and he's just sitting around doing shit.
Like that hipster guy back there is just shooting pool like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
This dog is... I'm so impressed with this dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have no idea what you're about to do, pal. It kind of begs the question, why didn't... Because the dog is the thing at this point.
Yes.
And why didn't he just, turn into or, turn one of the humans?
Well, that's sort of in retrospect, is the implication of that scene where it fades out, because it goes into the room with someone else sitting alone in there, because we see the shadow of the person there in the room when the dog walks in.
Yeah, but I don't think that person is turned, are they?
Well, we don't know who.
Well, we don't know who it is.
I see. That's the entire...
The thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
About the thing.
Yeah. It's subversive, because its motivation is survival.
See, I always just took it at face value that the first change was here.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden it's the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
But how awesome is that? Like, what the F is happening right now?
And this whole sequence was done by Stan Winston.
Oh.
Because Bottin was so overworked. He had to go to the hospital for exhaustion.
The little stringies coming out.
Oh yeah, that makes it so much, because like that's creepy as hell.
Like I can handle the spider legs and I can handle the Demogorgon face.
Yeah.
But that stringy. Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah, tentacles.
I guess it's almost like.
Yeah.
And now it's like pissing.
Yeah.
Piss on his ass, Kincaid, you said back in part 4. I guess no, it wasn't in the movie. It was in the documentary. Oh, shit. Yeah, I imagine that would have made a whole lot of noise.
Yeah.
But even, even having seen this movie, like, it's still scary just to watch that happen. You still feel so uneasy. And there were the little tentacle, stringy spaghetti things, like crawling away.
Yeah.
And they had
just goes right up your spine.
Well, and let's give a high five to Morricone, who put that like Flight of the Bumblebee type score over the top of it.
Rattlesnake almost. Sound.
Yeah.
Because Alan Howarth came in a little bit after production and threw in a few little...
And made it a kick drum for everything? No. Oh, wait.
No. He threw in a few other little flourishes of synthesizer here and there over certain points where they just need a little kind of like underscore or something.
Oh. So I thought his gig was you take the existing score and you put a kick drum on it.
No.
This movie really is oh my god. It's well paced. At least so far.
Yeah.
The
fact that this holds up in HD is fantastic.
Because
there are a lot of films from the 80s, some of the stuff, the makeup doesn't hold up because they weren't kind of designed for this type of presentation, but
look at that.
The quality is so in the details.
Look at this. I would actually, dare I say, it looks better in HD.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you can see more of it.
Yeah, back in the, oh my god.
Oh.
Back in the VHS days, this was very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you understood what was happening, but you didn't have detail.
Yeah, because
here,
if you have this set, you also have the cruddy television version, which is all just screwed around with the film so much, but you could see a comparison of the quality if you watch that.
I can definitely understand why people would pan this as just being gratuitous. And
they're not. I don't think at the time they're really ready for it, because you really haven't had mainstream-wise a lot of films with this type of assault.
There's a friggin' eyeball in the middle of it there. And so far the only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Jesus,
god! It's giving
Christ.
birth. There's more Demigorgon. The only real victims so far have been dogs.
And the Norwegian.
Well, yeah.
But that's their own fault, because they were kind of stupid.
I guess.
Reckless.
Yeah, I mean, they blew themselves up. But I'm saying as far as, like, the thing is concerned...
The thing actually attacking something, yeah.
So all we've seen, we're 30 minutes into this movie, is 6 dogs get killed.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I understand why people would be hot about that.
Yeah. Again,
here we're going to pan across everybody, reaction shots.
But that's great. They just go across every single one, get the right rack focus and everything. It's like this. I can't go on enough on the cinematography. Gene Cunny's amazing.
And then here you get this kind of desolation.
Yeah.
And old Brimley.
Yeah. He's into it, man.
Yeah, he's just like cracking a crab legs there. He's like.
And apparently he's kind of the one person in real life that's kind of like very much didn't appreciate the gore in the film. He felt more things should have been left up to suggestion, but I don't know.
Can't win them all.
It's hard to see the film in that version of the film where you've got something that's so in your face about this stuff. And there are films that are gratuitously gory, but I think this is so much into the visual storytelling of what you're getting into, because what this thing is beyond just a simple piece of imagination. This is beyond just a simple piece of imagination here. This is a conglomeration of
there's another fade out.
1,000 different species this thing has encountered. and just an amalgamation of things, and it just looks fantastic. If it was all hidden in shadows and stuff like that, it's like I don't know how much you get it, even for the actors themselves, to be able to work with that and have that be in their consciousness of how they're performing the scenes.
It's pretty interesting that he's able to come up with this theory.
Yeah. He's approaching it as much of a rational, scientific mind as possible. Not trying to be overwhelmed by what he's encountered, just like break it down in some type of rational fashion. So,
and again,
makes his character a very interesting one in the whole film too.
Well, yeah, he suddenly becomes a favorite because he knows, he's a kind of a voice of not a voice of reason, but somebody who knows what they're talking about.
He kind of becomes a prophet of doom of sorts because he becomes so overwhelmed with the reality of what this thing is that he goes off the deep end. But also makes it such an interesting thing to look through the film in retrospect, time and again. When does he get changed? Because he always seems like he's in a mindset against seeing this thing let loose.
This scene right here.
Yeah.
He's accusing, well, not accusing, but he's hypothesizing that perhaps, maybe this guy was alone with the dog.
If Clark he's been with the dog all day long or whatnot, has he been infected or whatnot? So it's like he's just trying to, again, the rational scientific mind. So it's like he doesn't come out directly as accuse him, but he's trying to put together the pieces here and there.
I will say that this is
and build the paranoia.
I don't remember the gentleman's name who wrote this, but
Bill Lancaster's the screenwriter.
I enjoy that element in that you have to have somebody who knows
gets ahead of the plot.
Right, because if everybody didn't know what it was, that really wouldn't lend itself to this accusation of are you, what about you, that kind of thing.
Because like I always said, set some rules up front.
Well, and
then that helps for the audience to relate what the rules are for what's going on here.
You've heard me talk about it for time and time again.
If it's too abstract, you just can't grasp it, and you can't really be terrified of it because you don't understand what it is.
Right.
So if you get
tell me the rules
here,
and then follow the rules,
hypothesizing everything, you've got some kind of ground to build on to just understand what you're dealing with enough to follow the narrative. Because again, they still have, at the end of the film, no matter how many times you watch it, you still have questions about it. Does the person who's changed know that they've been changed, or is it just a perfect disguise the whole way through and it's aware of itself? These things are not answered, and I love that about this film, that it has enough to go on, but it still remains ambiguous to keep that paranoia going and puts a depth to everything.
I think any good not cliffhanger ending, but ambiguous ending that isn't designed just for a sequel is what really makes a great horror film.
Yeah.
Halloween 1, for instance.
Halloween 3, too. I mean, it has that hook at the end.
I'll include The Strangers in that.
Oh, yeah.
The first Saw film. It's like, they all end with this sense of, whoa, look at that thing.
Yeah.
This sense of, well, like, the story for this person might be over, but it's still out there.
Yeah.
And this movie included. And that, to me, is what real horror is about. Like, you've shown me something awful, and then you've told me that it's not over.
Yeah, it still exists.
Like...
It just leaves... Again, you watch it late at night, in the house alone, and the film ends...
And you want to, look under the bed.
And you're just hearing every little crick and creak in the house, and it drives you insane, because you're freaked out. And that's beautiful.
Never in my life have I really been into alien stories or science fiction stories. I think anytime that there's, flying saucers or what have you. Like, it never comes out good.
Okay.
I guess I'm just too logical. I question everything, as you might have noticed.
Yeah.
Like, why is he wearing this fucking hat?
It is silly.
I mean, it's a 12-gallon hat.
But it's still Kurt Russell. I'm not going to screw with him.
Yes.
You wear whatever hat you want, Kurt.
Here's a white dissolve, which is interesting.
Yeah, there's a few of those here and there, which is, again, a really nicely edited piece.
But here, I think it's actually pretty cool. Like, because they've kind of given you an explanation. It's a cop-out as saying, like, well, it's an alien and we don't really know what it is, but you can kind of tell any story that way. It's like your generic starter kit for any good horror movie. Like, oh, let's just say it's an alien.
But it's nice that the first shot of the film is that craft crashing down
right
ahead of the title. So they lay it in there at the beginning of it to know what kind of film you're getting into.
So, but I still think them finding it and seeing it is cool. Like, it's not like they uncovered it and then that set the alien loose,
Which is, I think, I've never seen the original version, but I think that's kind of the implication of the first film, the original film.
There's a Coke.
Because they watched the videotape footage of the Norwegians blowing it up and whatnot, so I think that's kind of like taken off for what they did in the 50s version.
Well, we assume the Norwegians are the ones who, like, let it loose.
Yeah.
Because they uncovered it.
Yeah.
Those goddamn Norwegians.
Again, I love how this film, because you can see a film with an ensemble cast, and you can see a lot of people that can just blend together, and nothing's really distinct, but everyone is so, every character is given a distinct quality to themselves. Each actor has a distinct look to each other, so you don't get really confused about who's who or who's doing what.
I never remember the names.
Not too much. It's a little harder to remember some people, but
there's
at least their role in the dynamics of the story are easy to pick out who's who.
Well, they're characters. Yeah. They're well-written characters.
Yeah, exactly. And you had such, like I said, well-seasoned actors coming in for the most part.
This isn't Nightmare 5 where anybody can be interchangeable and you're like, wait, which one are you?
Yeah. Because, again, going back to the prequel ones, like, you have one or two good actors there, but everyone else just kind of like blends in the background. You really can't remember who's who or anything like that. Now,
this kind of shit I love. I don't know how they were able to put this together in 1982 on a deserted or an isolated research vessel, but this whole idea of, this being the assimilation, they call it.
Yeah.
And he's just keeping track. Oh, Wilford Brimley. And, like, who came up with this?
Yeah.
The computer decided that it could output that sentence?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's a little beyond the technology at the time for something to be able to do that. But
I mean,
but again,
go ahead. I was going to say it's cool though.
Yeah,
I like this whole. Well, of course he's drinking a Smirnoff, and he's got his gun. Like, great shot. He's skeptical, and here the audience can have somebody to really relate to.
Because he through him, you're getting the dread of the whole thing, and with Russell's character McCready, you're getting someone with a level head to decipher a situation as we get into. I was going to mention Brimley's acting there. Is like the subtlety of just like almost doing nothing but just look again. That's how you do film acting so well, because I guess there's one of the actors in the film who was much he hadn't done film before, and so I think it was Richard Dysart who kind of plays Copper. He's the guy. He pretty much told him how you do film, that you don't have to be large because you're on this big 40-foot screen and whatnot. Every little thing you do is magnified to an audience.
Right, you don't have to speak to the back row.
Right. Little subtle things go a long way, and that's just one of those great things to see that, where a guy just has a look or whatnot, and it just tells you, this guy's probably been up for like 3 days or whatnot, doing this type of thing. He's weary.
Well, Brimley in that scene...
worn out. He's terrified.
Brimley in that scene there, you know, all he did was kind of just very smallly shake his head back and forth, and you knew that, like, he knew it was over.
Yeah. It's like, I've got to do something to stop it here, because there's no one else. And again, in his mind or whatnot, whether he's changed or what, who knows when that happens. At least with him, he can't trust anyone, because the computer algorithm and whatnot told him you can't know who's been changed, because the probability is high enough.
Right, it happens so quick.
Someone else, more than one person here, could have already been changed, and stop you in a heartbeat if it has that consciousness to it.
Yum. Another blood sickle.
Goopy.
It looks great.
Yeah.
This looks great too.
Oh yeah.
And now that
this
you say
compound, yeah,
you can kind of tell that it's the same compound that they blew up.
A little bit, yeah, here and there.
So now the paranoia comes in.
Yeah. You see McCready, he's worn the fuck out too. He's been up for days.
I don't know how many days has gone by.
Yeah.
Hasn't it only been, like, wasn't it yesterday?
I think he mentions whatnot in a minute or so.
I mean, pretty interesting revelation that, you know, you burn the shit and the Skidozer. Yeah, but Skidozer sounds better. Skidozer. Ruh-roh. What a good look on this guy, too.
Yeah, Tom Waits. He was in The Warriors before this.
Yeah.
And had a disagreement with Walter Hill and got cut from the film. He got kicked off the film.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know which person that was.
That was Bennings.
That's his character's name?
Character's name is Bennings. Peter Maloney.
Oh, sure.
Peter Maloney.
I mean, it's... Well, now he's gone. This is no good.
Mm-hmm. I guess, and apparently they shot like 3 different deaths for this guy in the film. And
for this Bennings character?
Yeah. Because I guess one was like... I'm probably screwing things up, but regardless of that, I think they shot like 3 different endings for one of these characters and whatnot. And then this one here was the final one they did, because it just made the most sense for it.
That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's mostly Bennings.
Yeah.
He's got these wonky arms or hands.
Yeah.
And then the screaming and being burned alive. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, you and I both work. Can you imagine if one of your coworkers, like, showed up one day and you had to burn him alive?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, that's what Gary's going through here. The character here is, I've known this guy for 10 years. It's like he can't handle the situation. He can't contemplate what's going on.
Right. I mean, I've had some friends for 10 years. If I had to burn one of them alive, that does not compute. You know? Burn it all.
Yeah.
Make a little fire pit out of the snow.
Yeah.
I like that they all have these torch guns. What part of their research warrants this fire shooter? Like, why do they have this? I mean, is it because they're in Antarctica and they need to melt stuff?
Because, I mean, their intentions for this research station are never defined, so I don't know.
It's... I don't know. Oh, that's hilarious.
It's like, I don't even know what Childs does here. What Keith David's character does here, I have no idea. It's never defined what he is. He's not a scientist. He's not a chopper pilot. He's not a cook. What's he do?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's here because he's Keith David, okay? And he's awesome.
He is awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah.
The Bombardier. It's a French piece of equipment there. Bombardier.
Oh, okay.
What happened to your hat?
Uh.
Maybe he burned it. So here is another interesting plot point in that Brimley, right? Brimley is Blair.
Yeah.
Has gone missing, and nobody knows where he's at.
Yeah.
Has he changed? Who knows?
Yeah.
When,
everyone starts doing suspicious things here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a good old-fashioned psychology movie.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a social experiment, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's got a good cadence to his voice, too. Or timbre.
Russell?
Russell, yeah. There are certain words that sounds that he emphasizes in a certain way that just sound really cool with the way he says it.
Yeah. He's got a real down-to-earth quality, which really just is what's kind of defined his career so much. He always gets typically cast as a very rock-solid, centered type of character.
Which might be a reflection of who he is in real life.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
And then usually whenever he does a comedy, he's really good at it, too, so...
This is their chopper that has been destroyed?
Yeah. Because Blair doesn't want to allow the thing to escape
get out,
in any way.
Right. Look at this shot.
Oh, yeah, that's some beautiful Steadicam work.
I mean, he's moving.
Yeah.
So whoever was on the Steadicam was running backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting because you'll typically notice, probably no one's really noticed whatnot, but Keith David actually broke his hand early in production.
Okay.
So a lot of his scenes in this first half of the film, you can't see his left hand anywhere. It's just strategically missing from the shot
behind
his back or whatnot, or right here. He holds it up here because he's wearing a brown glove to cover it up.
Oh yeah,
of the cast.
Look at that.
So it looks puffed up as hell because he got swollen because he didn't go to the emergency room after the car accident. So his hand is strategically moved away from frame in a lot of cases until it got healed up.
That's incredible. I never noticed that before.
He's leaning into this shit, man. I love it.
He's great.
Oh yeah.
This guy's got a folding table.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he does.
How many bullets are in this gun? Now he just throws the gun. That's so good,
man.
It's so good.
Way to go. See, Loomis should have done that one. Just throw the gun at Michael. What, it killed him? I don't know.
It's funny. When they went to the Norwegian camp, and there's a scene in the Norwegian camp there where there's the red axe buried in the wall. And I thought, that's a very specific axe. And then all of a sudden, he's got a red axe. And I thought, interesting. That really kind of adds to that whole, it's the same set kind of.
Yeah, same props and everything, yeah.
Unless, there's like a standard floor plan and blueprint, as we discussed, for these research facilities. And they all come with a standard red axe
buried in the
inside of something.
Inside of a poor old dog.
We're up to like 48 dogs that we've seen murdered on this podcast or YouTube series. Commentary series.
Michael Myers has taken care of a few of them.
Jason Voorhees has gotten a few.
I think he probably had one or two. This is a nice scene. I like this one.
Yeah, better have some of that alcohol. Do they have him like locked up, handcuffed, tied to something? Is that?
Trust in the Lord.
So here's more paranoia. I mean, for all I know, you could be the Thing.
Exactly. Again, it's the whole thing. You watch it as many times as you want. You can't pinpoint the point in time where Blair gets transformed. Is this Blair himself laying seeds? Is it the other thing kind of driving a wedge between these guys? You have no idea. You can look at it in a dozen different ways. As again, the beauty of it all. That
really is great. That's an aspect that gets overlooked.
Yeah. Because, I mean, today it almost seems like either you're going to leave everything as a blatant mystery, that you get no answers whatsoever, or it's going to be explained out to the nth degree and there's no interest left in it.
I hate when they over-explain stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I always kind of enjoyed this aspect too. You get the blood from everybody, and
yeah, I mean, this was the scene that drove Carpenter to want to do the film. There was something intrinsic, probably even just in the jump scare moment, that he really wanted to just nail it. There was something intriguing about the entire concept that kind of wrapped them all up into the project.
Like, it makes me want to go do blood tests on all my friends. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is no good.
Nope.
Why would they have this much blood? And why would there be like this medical facility inside the research station?
Again, it comes back to
what is
not
their
being
job?
defined of what they're researching up here.
You know what's good about this shot is that people have their back to the camera.
Yeah.
And it's natural.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when
everyone's got to kind of come into the scene and line up.
Yeah. Or like there's a dinner scene and there's 4 people that are sitting in a half moon around a table facing the camera. You're like, wait, what?
That's a bad idea. Oh, it's always interesting with
those eyebrows.
With the doc here. In standard definition, I could never tell he had a nose ring. It wasn't until watching this version in HD that I saw he had a nose ring.
I don't think I still noticed.
Yeah, when you cut to another close-up of him. Which is not going to happen now.
Well, we're going to have to see it at some point.
We'll get there, eventually.
Oh, look at that.
You can see it right on him. Standard F, you can't. It's too obscured by the compression.
The fuzziness?
The compression and the low res. The low definition.
There's a Steadicam again.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And hauling ass, too.
A lot of paranoia, yelling. It's very good.
Everyone kind of looking back and forth and whatnot. You got Clark back there. He's kind of like edgy towards everyone. He's already had like Blair kind of looking funny at him about this whole thing. So it's like everyone's got their own little twitches or whatnot they're going through.
Great facial expressions too. On everybody. I mean, as you know, I've always heralded facial expression as being a great indicator in good acting.
The more you can tell expression-wise, the less you have to say anything. Which is always a thing with being a writer. It's like, I always have to kind of backtrack myself on this. Like, I don't need to put it in dialogue. I need to let the actor act the scene. Because a lot of times, like, we go off and shoot something. It's like, Riri thing is like, well, we don't need to show that, or we don't need to say this. We need to just play it out and cut this thing out, because we've already put that idea far enough ahead into the audience. Well, like, Childs wants to take control, Mr. Hothead.
With one hand. We're gonna let a guy with one hand be in charge?
I just figured if Childs was in charge, it'd be like...
That was a TV show, right? Child's in charge?
Child's in charge. I'll take Keith David over Scott Baio.
Ooh, yes. Okay, pull. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, if Childs was put in charge of the whole thing, everyone would be shot in the head within about 2 hours, trust me. You wouldn't last that long.
That's probably true.
This is the scene, man. This sets it all up.
It's a good monologue.
Because I guess originally they shot this like interior, inside the compound,
really?
and it didn't work. It just felt flat. But they shot outside where you got the flame giving it some mood. You got the lighting back there,
the wind.
Everything just so much about an environment can affect the mood of a scene.
That's a good line. We're going to find out who's who
and who's the thing. Yeah.
And what's great is that you don't know at this point. Like, some of these people might be the thing.
Everyone's kind of standoffish here and there. And everyone has their own ways of reacting, too. It's like, Doc here is kind of like, I'm not a prisoner, but then Clark, he's constantly had people have these sideways accusations against him. Again, that goes back to being such a well-written film that you don't just... Again, with this many characters, you could get very bogged down and just being lazy about it and just writing whatever, but they distinguish personalities towards these different characters and have such great actors come in to have them all have a distinct way of reacting to these situations. Every little actor is having their own expression, their own reaction shot or whatnot, and even in the wides, everyone has their own particular way of just acting.
In real life, people behave differently.
Yeah, and that's what this film gets so well.
Right, they're humans. I mean, they're all different characters, and they all have different character elements. But they're all behaving as humans.
Yeah.
Differently.
Yeah.
If everyone behaves exactly the same,
right?
It's
bland.
Yeah, that's it's just poor writing because especially like if you had two people and I forget. I was just gonna say there's something that I read or watched where I think it was where all the characters sounded the same. Tarantino's kind of like that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
They're all kind of quipping out the same little pop culture reference nonsense.
Yeah, they all have the same
affectation of reacting and commenting on a moment.
Right. And while I enjoy that style, you do kind of go, well, I can tell who wrote this.
Yeah, yeah.
But here, everybody... And maybe it's the lack of direction. Maybe it's just, we're going to let you be you.
Yeah.
And react how you would normally react.
Yeah, and the fact that they have, again, shooting at this format, you do a lot of wide shots, so you have all these different actors in the scene. You don't have to be like close up, close up, close up.
Right.
Everyone can kind of work in the background to the scene of what's going on in the foreground.
Right. You don't have to say, okay, act in disbelief.
Yeah.
Or act in disgust.
Yeah.
And then shoot everybody.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, everybody, this disgusting thing's about to happen.
Yeah.
How do you think you'd react?
Yeah. And apparently because Carpenter pushed to have a full cast rehearsal about 2 weeks before production began, and the actors all said that really helped to develop their dynamics and relationships between everyone to get, whether it's a conflict or friction or whatnot, or camaraderie between people. It really helped them, and that so much shows on the screen, from my opinion.
I know some people actually really dislike practicing or rehearsing.
Yeah.
Because then they feel like they get 1 or 2 good takes, and then at that point it's fake.
Yeah, because I just did a review on Superman, and Marlon Brando didn't want to learn any of his lines. He just wanted to go in and have his first reading of lines being his reaction on screen. So actors have 5 billion ways of doing things. It's all what functions for your psychology going into a role. You get a Daniel Day-Lewis, he wants to spend 1.5 years method acting.
Yeah, becoming
living the life of the character. He'd probably do that if he had a 2-minute cameo somewhere. So, every artist works their own way.
Yeah, and I can imagine how awful it would be if you had somebody who loved to rehearse and then somebody in the same scene with somebody who didn't.
Yeah. See, again, this is like the different dynamics. Like, Windows doesn't like freaking Palmer, and Palmer doesn't like Childs.
Take charge.
Yeah.
And he's got his hat.
Oh yeah.
He's ready to go.
Got the hat back, man. He's taking command now, man. Hat demands the respect now.
I don't know if I can respect that. I'm sorry.
We can respect Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hands down.
And he's such a perfect casting. So many times, but in this film, because it's here. But he's such a perfect casting because, this is a character who really doesn't want to be the guy in charge. He's kind of thrust into it because he has to, because he looks at all these other guys some guys are freaking out, some guys are a little too hot-headed or something like that, or they're just not capable whatsoever of being in charge of the situation. It's like, if I want things to go in a way that I feel comfortable about, I got to do something about it. He's just relegated to the fact that he has to do it.
Yeah. Well, they always say real leaders rise to the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
They're not...
And it's slightly offshoot, I'd say, from Snake Plissken a little bit. This kind of anti-hero guy who doesn't like authority, doesn't like to be relied upon by anyone. So it's not
kind of overtly.
Yeah, he's more overt. This is a little bit more kind of like a little bit more grounded ideal of that. Where obviously because apparently again the television version of this is kind of silly. Carpenter disowns it because they apparently added in voiceover introductions for every character, and the voiceover's terrible.
Really?
Yeah. They say they have this voiceover narration like, this is where McCready came from, this is what he did before the film started, and he was a helicopter pilot doing this and this thing, and then he had a conflict with his superior and got booted out. It's ridiculous. I watched 5 minutes of it. It's like, I can't take this.
Why would they even do that?
I don't know. I don't know why they did it for the TV version whatsoever. It just makes no sense. It builds nothing.
Is it because they had to cut out so much they felt they needed to add something back in to make the time?
Beats me. I have no idea. It's really badly handled.
So who is this that they found?
Fuchs, the guy with the glasses and the beard.
Oh, okay.
He was talking in the Skeetos earlier.
You say glasses and the beard, and I go, oh yeah, like they don't all have glasses and a beard.
But apparently he also had an alternate death where it was more like a slasher film death where he got like axed into a door, but then like Carpenter's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
You're right.
It doesn't make any sense. It's not this entity is not a murderous type of thing. Everything it's doing is to survive, to be a chameleon in this group or whatnot. It's not trying to be obvious or overt or whatnot. It wouldn't just go off and axe someone to death. So, and as another great evidence of a good director who starts, it may be scripted that way, you shoot it that way, but then you kind of look at it, it's like, that doesn't function. That doesn't hold with the mentality of what you're dealing with.
The rules.
Yeah. And just like, and Carpenter's such a matter-of-fact type of guy. He's not going to bullshit anyone. He's not going to bullshit himself. So it's like, if it doesn't work, he's going to say it doesn't work, and he's going to do what he can to fix it. It's like, I don't care how much time it took to shoot it. It's wrong. Let's fix it.
Right.
A lot of directors out there probably wouldn't do that. It's like, okay, we shot that way. That's the way we shot it. I don't care. Or we don't have the money for it, or we don't have the time for it. Carpenter would find the way to fix it. If he doesn't agree with it, he's not going to put it in his film.
Well, famously,
yeah,
Vince McMahon, if two wrestlers screwed up a match, he'd send them back out to have them do it again.
Exactly.
See, and as much as I can tell which characters are who, like I never remember who's who, like which ones are which. This is the cat on the roller skates, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we saw how long it took for the thing to turn into the dog, or try to turn into the dog, and it didn't quite make it. And I don't know if that's because it was trying to get to multiple dogs, or, you know what I mean? But I can't imagine it would take a minute, probably, half hour or an hour.
Well, yeah. Look, it was trying to turn into Bennings. It got there maybe about 80% of the way within a few minutes. So, and with the dogs, it probably was transforming because it felt threatened by them. So it was trying to strike back and try to do whatever to survive again. Again, it goes back to just the mentality of survival with it. So if it feels threatened, it'll do something in defense of itself.
And they all think that Kurt Russell is the thing now.
Yeah, because they found the torn up outfit or whatnot, which was, they've already established again. It rips open your clothes when it transforms you, absorbs you, whatnot.
Assimilates, I think.
Assimilates. That's a wonderful shot. I love that shot there, that ghostly image of him.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It's where all the beard and the hair really work for the makeup so well.
They do. Oh, look at that. 2 cases of Milk Duds over here. In case you... That's great. And I think those are 48 counts. That's 96 boxes of Milk Duds.
That's how
That'll
you
last a
survive
long
up
time.
there. And what was that? Budweiser. There's some Budweiser. Cases of Budweiser.
Yeah, but they have more boxes of Milk Duds than they do cans of Budweiser.
Oh, well.
I guess that shows you what... I don't remember them ever drinking a Budweiser. The only can of beer I saw was a Coors. I'd feel pretty nervous having that dynamite that close to that flare.
No.
What a great shot, or the look with the frosty beard and the...
And he's still kind of like shivering too, so he's incorporating all the elements of the situation into the performance. And I love the hand is like flexing the hand because it's probably feels almost frostbitten or whatnot. So the little things go so damn far.
Is this the famous metamorphosis here coming up?
Yeah.
I know this. It's this guy right here.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Charles Hallahan.
I mean, this is like the equivalent of the Alien, the scene in Alien.
Chest burster. Yeah.
And it's been a minute since we've had, a good
grotesque.
Moment,
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be a good way to kill it, right? I like that.
Yeah.
The scalpel there.
Yeah.
Oh! It ripped his hands off. Oh!
And they got an amputated gentleman.
Oh, to play that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Here's
the stringies.
Prosthetic face of the actor on top of him, so it's like, and it all holds up. You can't even tell that he's wearing a prosthetic face or whatnot.
What in the fuck?
They've made action figures of this thing, man.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Apparently, when they originally were shooting this thing, all these little tendril things coming out of the neck or whatnot was made together with like melted plastic and all this other weird concoction stuff was creating toxic fumes in the room.
Oh, good, right, because it's burning.
And it blew up.
Oh, no.
It exploded in the room. They had to extinguish the flames and reset everything for the next day.
Oh man, these stringy things are really what get me. Like I can handle, melty face and I can handle guts and blood, but
it feels like something that's like creeping up your leg and whatnot.
Right.
Ugh. The fact it's all green inside just makes it even worse.
There's the spider legs.
He likes its spider legs.
They're pretty effective.
Yeah, yeah. Creepy crawly.
I mean, it's almost funny.
It's so fantastic. I mean,
the spider legs on an upside down face.
Yeah. I mean, it just only from the mind of.
Oh, look at that! That's great.
It's the best line in the movie.
You got to be fucking kidding. That pretty much sums up.
And
the whole
Carpenter
thing.
almost didn't get that shot. He was going to like have it play like over the shoulder thing. One of the actors like, "You've got to get this shot. You've got to get the shot of him actually saying the line." But I mean, so much of this could only come from the mind of like Rob Bottin. This guy is just a wild maniac genius, a wild madman. It's such an active imagination for such like comic booky type of things and just grotesque, weird horror stuff. Like
he definitely thought outside the box.
Oh, very far outside the box. I mean, that's why I said. I mean, like. Probably at the time, just audiences weren't ready for this type of assault of just unbridled type of imagination in such a gruesome fashion, because you never got something this intense before. Again, it's great framing with everything. You got foreground, background, midground, everything to tell you a story in such one frame.
Did he really just shoot the man?
Yep.
I mean, I guess the guy's got a point. Like, we started with X number of people, and now they're dying by the minute.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy would that be?
Yeah.
I do like that they call it The Thing.
Yeah.
And not...
Try to come up with some kitschy name or something.
Yeah. But it's also just kind of passive, like...
Yeah.
We're going to try to figure out what this thing is.
Yeah.
Or, who's the thing? You know, the thing.
Yeah. Just what anyone would naturally say is like, what else are you going to call it?
Conversely, in Tremors... When they come up with the name Graboid because it's funny. Oof. Oh, come on. I don't know if that's necessary. They have needles, for fuck's sake. Well, you slice a man's thumb off. How's he going to put on his roller skates? One no thumb. Keith has already got a bad hand.
Yes.
See, unnecessary. Look at that. Why are you still slicing?
It's a little excessive.
All you need's a pinprick.
Yeah.
He's not like peeling potatoes, filleting a fish. Great anticipation here too. This is one of those things where a close-up is...
Yeah, so effective.
Right.
It just focuses you in on the details.
Well, here, it actually is about the individual, as opposed to before when it was more about the collective.
Yeah. Yeah. Now everyone's singled out.
Just a pissed off.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like that no one in this film has a tan and whatnot. Everyone looks like they've been up here in the cold for 8 months or something like that. Everyone's a little pasty.
Well, it would be stupid to have a tan.
Oh, yeah. I feel like Charles there just says crock of shit. Voodoo bullshit. Crock of shit. He's always calling people out on this shit throughout the whole film. Doesn't believe any of this bullshit.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a character again.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like the same way in They Live. It's like, believe anything you have to tell me, man.
Right.
Roddy Piper's got to beat the living crap out of him in an alleyway to get him to understand. Even he is.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. I love how they just set this up that you're distracted by the whole conversation. You're not thinking about a setup for a scare or whatnot. It just jumps out of nowhere. Because we've kind of gotten a little mundane in the whole process.
Yep.
It's almost like a magician's trick. Oh, for crying out loud.
It's so beautiful. Look at this. It's melty face.
Oh. Yeah.
And they're tied together, which is really the thing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
They're freaking the fuck out. Oh.
Uh-oh. Now it's going to eat him. How great is this? Russell still can't work his gimmick over there. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
For 1982.
Yes.
Here's a man half-eaten. Here's probably that same stunt guy that did the Friday, or the Halloween 2 and the Nightmare 1.
I wouldn't doubt it's the same guy from Halloween 2. I don't know for certain.
No, the guy from Halloween 2 was the same guy from Nightmare 1.
Okay.
Like, it was confirmed. I looked it up.
Yeah, because Dick Warlock, it was Kurt Russell's stunt double for, like, the longest time, so he was working on this film, too. There we go.
You just blow a bitch up.
Yeah, apparently Kurt Russell didn't know it was going to be that big of an explosion. It was like a shockwave through his body.
Well, okay.
You don't really need to play that up.
Meanwhile...
Yeah. Now I was like, burn the fucker. It's like, ain't no one making a case for Windows here. Burn the motherfucker up.
He burned up the backgammon set.
Oh well. And this part almost gets comical in a certain way.
Well, you got to keep going.
Yeah. Well, no, because I mean the way they structure it, because they have this little jump cut, there's like time jump in between everything, so it's kind of edited together in almost like a more of a comedy way.
I suppose.
Right, where everyone, like even this moment coming up here.
I mean, this is a natural reaction, though.
Yeah, but then they cut to this thing where him just like how the editing plays it just gives it a certain sense of levity. Just how it's more of a snappy comedic editing instead of like tension building, because you have to tell tension break, and you have to play out the rest of the scene. So you add in a bit more of this almost a release of the whole thing.
It's a great line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they test the two over on the dead ones? I don't think they did.
No, because they test Clark, and then Child says, you straight up murdered him for no reason.
Oh, they did do him, yeah. He was human, is what they said.
He was human. So you just murdered him in cold blood.
But nobody's tested Wilford Brimley out.
No, that's what they're going to do at this point.
And this is another one of those stories where things flow logically. We've talked about this, where it's not just a series of events. This happens, and because of that, the next thing happens.
Yes.
And because of that, the next thing happens.
A logical chain reaction of events.
Right. As opposed to, well,
this happens, then that happens.
Right.
Then that
and
happens.
then I had this idea. Let's put this in here.
Yeah. Smattering of things slapped against the wall. Strung together with some loose string.
Ooh, don't say string. Ooh, that's creepy. I just think of those.
Loose thread.
Oh, that doesn't help either. I'm never having spaghetti ever again.
Especially now with some green sauce on it.
Oh, come on.
Some guacamole on
top. Oh, dear. He dug a tunnel.
He dug a tunnel.
He
dug a tunnel.
Blair.
I feel some of this is a little straining of credibility here about
underground bunker.
That he burrowed all this out, got all this stuff set up with the tools and the workbench and all this type of stuff, and was able to cannibalize the chopper or whatnot to partially create this saucer within a day.
Yeah, it's
a little much.
That's thin.
Unless he got changed a lot earlier than that, which adds maybe one extra day to the whole thing. but then also again further raises the point of, does someone who's changed know that they've been changed? So, I mean, not that it's a problem with the film, it just continues to create more of that ambiguity of how much of a perfect imitation is this thing.
So far, that's the most unrealistic aspect, though.
And it's
which is saying a lot for an alien story.
And it's such a small thing because, I mean, it's there just to show the intention of it, that he has been changed as this thing without having to do a blood test and whatnot. You see that he has been changed.
See, I don't know if I ever put that together, though.
Yeah, well, it's basically creating a ship for him to return to wherever the hell he came from. So, but it's just there just to tell that plot point, and that's it. It's not there to feed into anything else. So I think I've never really had a problem with it, but just watching it now is like, okay, all that kind of...
Yeah. But again, if that's the worst thing that we've
come
across...
just a tad thin, but we're an hour and a half into this thing. You're here for the ride and everything. You're already locked in the whole way. And there's one minor thing that kind of raises something like that. It's like, you've already been through so much. If you bought everything else this film is thrown at you, that's hardly a thing to lean against it.
I still feel like, for there only being, 15 to 20 minutes left in this movie, there's still a lot of people still alive.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of cool that, we're setting up for, some major excitement.
Yeah, some major set pieces still to come.
Get to the chopper. And by chopper, I mean repurposed chopper. Get to the saucer. Oh, well then, that's one way to get in. Is he carrying dynamite around his waist there?
Oh, yeah.
That seems dangerous. And I maybe it's because we're not listening, but what's the purpose of this?
They're trying to basically give the thing no options,
nowhere to go,
and it's like, well, if they take away any means of escape, now it just wants to freeze, so that when the rescue team comes in the spring, it'll just grab it and bring it back to civilization and thaw it out again and start the whole process again. So they want to burn the whole place down and destroy and burn it as well. And so they're basically in fatalistic mode.
It seems like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, though, don't you think?
I mean, they don't have any way to get out because the chopper's gone.
Right.
So they can't get out of here.
And there's no radio.
And it's killed the power. To the parts, at least some of the power, I think. Yeah, because they say in a moment the generator's gone, so they got no power, they got no heat, they got no escape. They're dead anyway. And then this thing can survive in the cold for thousands of years, so it's just gonna wait for Plan B or Plan C or whatnot to just get itself carted off when the team arrives and just start all over again and find out another way to survive.
Which, there again, is a great sequel idea that they've never capitalized on.
Apparently the video game they released is kind of more... Carpenter at least gave some kind of endorsement to say that's enough, that's as good of a sequel as I can put my name behind.
Sure.
So.
Oh, there. Yeah. Generator's gone.
Yeah.
Not broken.
It's just
gone.
Not there anymore.
It seems like this conversation should have happened before they started blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like it's out of order.
A little bit, tad bit. I mean, I guess in a way they're probably trying to narrow down places where it could possibly hide from them. But even then...
And I like that they're just stringing dynamite along. Carpenter has a great way of directing with no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows that dialogue isn't necessary.
Yeah.
And...
Never really thoroughly understood this, how he dies from this, but...
Well, he's got his whole... We also don't know if there's something going from his
exactly.
hand into the mouth of the...
Yeah, it's far more suggestive.
Yeah, it's ambiguous, but it's also... I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
It's friggin' beautiful. And that was the doc, right?
That was the captain, Gary.
Again, no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Just the lighting.
These nice wide shots give a sense of isolation and... Molotov cocktails there too.
Yeah, great sets.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's a pretty solid movie.
Yeah. I mean, Carpenter's gone on record saying it's the one he's kind of most proud of in general because it came out pretty much exactly the way he envisioned it from the start.
I can't imagine Halloween not being the thing you're the most proud of.
Right. I mean, when you balance just how much more time and work and effort that had to be put into this one, flying out in the middle of nowhere, taking an hour and a half to drive to locations through mountains and everything, and enduring all that type of stuff. And there's a much more colossal mountain to traverse to get this to where he wanted to.
That's a little hokey with the pulling down.
Yeah, because they apparently had a lot more of the stop motion stuff, but it just didn't hold up very well, so Carpenter cut it out. You know, he kept it as much as they need to tell the moment.
And that's a dog.
Yeah.
And that's somebody's head up there.
That's Blair's head.
This is the first we've seen of half Blair, right?
Yeah, Blair Monster, as they called him.
Blair Monster?
Yeah, the Blair Monster. Yeah, fuck you too. That's great. There you go. That's some money on the screen.
What a great shot.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a one...
Go to town.
And he had to be a one-take Tommy on that one because you get no other tries.
No.
That's always been fascinating to me, too. Anytime that they, like, blow up a house.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You gotta set, like, 18 cameras and whatnot.
Yeah, and just hope that you get lucky.
Yeah. It doesn't get hit by shrapnel and breaks the lens or some shit.
Looks like Jesus. Tell me that's not Jesus.
Well, it is Kurt Russell, so I mean...
Well played.
It's close enough.
Close enough. And who's left? Are these the only two left?
The only two left. Blew up Blair and Knowles got dragged off to somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He just kind of vanished into the back room that got blown up anyway, so...
So he's just been out
in
the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really know at this point if Kurt Russell has been turned? We kind of don't.
No, and that's the ambiguity at the end of the film. You've had at least enough time in between the place blowing up and him stumbling over here. Anything could have happened to one of these guys.
I feel like, though, because Kurt Russell's kind of your main character,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the audience believes that he is not turned. And all the ambiguity is on other people.
But even Keith David says he didn't play it any other way than he was human. Which is the great thing to, again, for the audience sake, adds in, you have no idea. There's no telltale signs one way or another.
Right. There's no wink and a nod that says you're going to know, but us characters aren't.
Yeah. Which is just the great way of how the entire film is played. They don't try to delay those things like, you have to read into it. The film isn't going to telegraph it to you. You have to...
interpret.
You have to pay attention as close as you can if you want to try to find those little things, but even then, that's the entire mind, the psychology of the audience playing upon itself. And that's such a great ending to a horror film, to just leave you with that ambiguity and the dread, like you said earlier.
And that's it.
You don't know.
That's it. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what happens to these two. Do they starve and freeze to death in the snow? Do they get rescued?
Yeah.
You know, does the thing go on?
Yeah.
Is there... Right. Who knows?
And again, with the rest of Carpenter's sort of apocalypse trilogy with Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness, there's kind of that same sort of ending in a certain way where, like, Prince of Darkness, there's still this haunting specter of something that could still come back, that you didn't avert what you thought you did. You almost facilitated it happening. And In the Mouth of Madness is just like, again, it is just what the title of the film says, just the entire world descends into madness, and you're just enveloped by it. There was no escape from what was going to happen. It's inevitable. And that's, again, Halloween 3 again. That ending, it's just like a moment of inevitability that you don't know that he's going to get the other station to kill the commercial.
Right, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So you're left with this feeling of inevitability that you're not going to be able to stop it.
I like it's Norwegian, and then Norwegian Passenger.
Yes. That was producer Larry Franco. Put the producer in the film, blow him up. Put a bullet.
Well, if you need a body, he's just standing around anyway. And who doesn't want to blow up the boss, right? Not? Like, you know, Who Goes There is a good title.
Yeah.
And this person deserves some credit too for
art
set
direction.
decoration and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, just a solid story.
Yes.
And for 1982,
'82, and again, this opened in such a jam-packed summer. Apparently, because originally it wasn't supposed to open when it did, but apparently there was another film, I think it was Cat People, that apparently wasn't coming together very well, and the studio was just like, we can't release this right now. It's a mess of a film. We can't release it now. So they slotted the thing into its spot with not a whole lot of promotion proper, and then it gets opened a week after E.T.
I was going to say, did this go up against E.T.?
A week after E.T., same weekend as Blade Runner, a week before Poltergeist.
Oh.
That's like, you're so screwed.
That's a supernatural run.
Yeah. And that's just a jam-packed release schedule. It's like, you can't bet to win on that type of thing.
And that's very uncommon for back then, to have that tight of a...
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just didn't make as many movies at that time.
No, but I mean, 82's got a laundry list of classic films.
Dick Warlock there.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that you got a Spielberg-directed film followed by a Spielberg-produced film, both kind of nabbing similar ends of the spectrum or whatnot. One's the feel-good family film, and the other one's like the kind of like the horror film that people will be much more agreeable, more accessible for them because it's more of a spooky ghost story instead of a graphic
Poltergeist
assault on
was a big
things.
hit.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just like, and then you got The Thing and Blade Runner sandwiched on the same day, which ended up having the exact same fates of two films that are largely panned, they be box office bombs, but it would take like 10 years before they got any kind of recognition for being the classic films of their genre that they were. So,
you ready? I'm about
weird.
You ready for me to drop a bomb on you?
Go for it.
Unpopular opinion.
Go for it.
I can't stand E.T.
I tried. See, I hadn't watched it since the late 80s, and I tried watching it again a few years ago. So it's like 25 years of separation. Just like, I really honestly got nothing out of it.
I don't think it's great. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I've seen it a few times, so it's not just a one and done situation. Yeah. And I realized that at the time, it was the highest grossing movie of all time. Mm-hmm. It's heralded as one of the greatest. Everybody loves it.
It made my sister cry.
Again. I just don't like it. I think it's stupid.
Because when I watched it again, like 2-3 years ago, it's like, there's no plot in this film. There's really no plot. It's just...
And then that happens.
Exploring
and then
the relationship between Elliot and the alien. There's not really a story until like the last 15-20 minutes where you got the government comes in, and it just becomes a chase film, and then it's over.
Right, and they have that...
It builds so much on its saccharine qualities of Spielberg.
It just does not push my buttons at all.
I mean, if people out there cherish it and love it, that's your thing to cherish and love. But it just,
oh God,
it doesn't connect with me. I mean, maybe if it was a film that I watched and watched and watched and watched over and over again, like every year for like the last 30 years, I'd have some kind of emotional connection to it. But I just like stopped watching it at a certain point. Then 2.5 decades go by, and I have no emotional connection to it, and it didn't do anything for me.
Right, you're looking at it with a fresh set of eyes. Mm-hmm. Well...
Meanwhile, I watch this film every so often, and it impresses every single time I watch it.
Yeah, it actually gets better for me every time I watch it.
The first time I saw this, I rented it, then I went off and bought the DVD and watched it twice in 1 week.
Wow.
It was that, and I was that impressed with it.
I actually like it more every time, like I said. Which is saying something. So, well, we appreciate you watching along.
Yes, and sorry about if you disagree with our E.T. thoughts, but we won't be doing any commentaries then.
We're definitely not doing E.T.
We're not doing that, so.
We're not doing E.T.
We're doing more Halloween soon, so for better or worse.
Check out the archives. Look up some of the stuff, nightmare films we've done.
Shocker.
Oh God, Gremlins.
Give us Shocker.
The Friday the 13th films.
Lethal Weapon, which we'll be getting back to soon.
So yeah, I mean, check out some of the older stuff. Hit us up on the Twitter. I don't know. We're just here to have fun.
Our handles are always in the video description to hit us up there, guys. So hope to see you there.
Thanks for always your fun interaction. We hope you enjoyed this little
absolutely
offshoot. We try to throw in something different every once in a while.
Yeah, so we're doing long franchise stuff. It's nice to throw in a little extra treat here and there. So especially after such crap.
Yeah,
we get into with some of these terrible sequels. So
lots more exciting stuff coming up. Stay tuned.
Hills and valleys, people. So. But anyway, thanks so much for listening. We love to interact with you guys. So hit it up in the comments and Twitter and all that. So thanks much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.